Good afternoon and welcome back to the workbench. Once again, here's a more interesting video that's a bit more electronics focused, kind of, rather than sticking things on coasters. But yeah, might be more interesting. Sorry I haven't made anything for another month or two. It's just life just keeps getting in the way and stuff. So yeah. Anyway. I'm gonna talk about this. So this is a clock, as you can see. It works now. It didn't work before, or it kind of did, and I'm gonna talk about that. So, unfortunately, I didn't make a video at the time, and again, it was too much hassle. But I was just sort of mucking around with this on the couch watching TV when I was playing with it. But yeah, this is an old clock. It was well, it's not that old, to be honest. It's pretty modern. But yeah, this was this was used for a while, and then it went faulty, and just ended up in a box. The fault with it was that it would run okay for a length of time, and then it would just jam or kind of stop, and the second hand would just stop in one place and just sort of twitch to and fro, and it wouldn't advance and nothing would happen. And replacing the battery wouldn't help really. I have seen that with other clocks where the battery goes flat and the thing just doesn't work properly, which makes sense. But in this case it wasn't that. Even with a fresh battery it would not work correctly. So I initially went into that assuming that, well, maybe there's something wrong with the mechanism. You can see on the back here, it's got a little standard mechanism thingy. In there you can see the coil and the gears and all the usual stuff. I think all these modern clock mechanisms are all about the same, pretty much basic design, and I did in fact buy a replacement one from a local electronics shop for $6. I was intending to just swap this out. I figured that would probably be the easiest way. I kind of assumed maybe there's something wrong with the drive circuit, or the gears are worn or something, and that it wouldn't be fixable. And given such a low cost of these, it was just figured, well, just do that. Admittedly, the whole clock itself probably isn't worth that much, but yeah, I just, something fun to do. But when I got this, the unfortunate problem is this shaft here is quite long. See if that will get in focus there. There we go. Yeah, you can see it has a quite a long shaft with a nut on it, which I guess is good for some clocks, but not for this one, because this one had basically the distance between the base and these white parts where the hands connect to is basically 0. And honestly, this would fit in the housing, but the shaft length was too great, and it would just, the hands would basically just touch the glass and probably wouldn't even be able to move. And yeah, this is actually real glass, not plastic, which is interesting. But anyway, yeah, so that didn't work. I couldn't use this, but then I thought maybe I can swap the, if the drive circuit is bad, maybe I can swap that between the mechanisms, or possibly I could swap the gears or something, although I had less hope with that, because obviously it is slightly different, and yes, the gears are different sizes, I suppose, or, well, yeah, different enough that they don't fit. They're not interchangeable. The circuit probably would be interchangeable with a bit of fiddling around, but yeah, in the end I didn't use this, and I'll explain why. So, turns out there was actually nothing wrong with the mechanism. As you can see, it's working perfectly fine, and it actually has done so for the last 3 weeks since I fixed it. So, yeah, but basically what the problem was, and something that I did not expect and do not still understand how it happened, I think I'll open this one up maybe to sort of give an explanation, and that, so it just comes off with a little clip on the side there. You just pop that up, and then there's another one on this side, I think it has a third one here. Yeah, you've got to put a screwdriver there and get that clip out, but then the whole back just pops off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see if I can point to stuff. So there's this coil here, obviously, and it's got these metal pieces that go through it and around here, and they go to either side of this little gear here, which has a magnet in it, a little ring magnet that's connected to the bottom. And the drive circuitry, obviously we've got the crystal here, 32 kilohertz, standard clock crystal there. That's obviously divided down. There's a little epoxy blob chip on the circuit board underneath here, and you can just see the edge of that here. Brown sort of standard cheap board. Obviously that divides down and makes a pulse every well, actually I'm not sure it makes a pulse every second. It makes a pulse every something. Maybe it is every second. It's strange. It pulses this gear, obviously. Well, it pulses the coil, makes a magnetic field which moves this gear, but that actually moves more than one tooth at once. So this gear here next to it actually moves like more than one tooth. I kind of assumed that like each tooth would count for 1 second, but it doesn't. It gets divided again by like these other gears here, and then it makes sense. But on this clock, the bad mechanism, when I was investigating the gears and just having a look overall to see if I could swap parts or whatever, or if there was anything obviously wrong, I mean, I thought maybe like the crystal could have, I don't know, worn out or something. I have no idea. I don't think crystals really fail that way. I think they just drift out of value. But I thought, it could be like a weak coil or a weak drive pulse to the coil. I thought of swapping the circuit boards over if that was the case, but it turned out that the issue was purely mechanical. And I'll show that in a minute. I'll just put this back together. But basically, I took some photos of the other mechanism, which I'll show now, and you can see that on 3 of the gears, especially the little like drive gear, the one with the magnet on it, there's this strange brown gunk stuck in some of the teeth, and that's gone not only from that gear, it goes onto the one that it drives, and then that one has also transferred, I guess, or something, some of that onto a third gear. So there were 3 gears, as you can see, that all have a little bit of stuff stuck in them, and that seemed to be what the problem was. But yeah, I took this little paintbrush here, very soft, fine bristles, and I was able to just carefully brush at the gears with it, and eventually got all the stuff out. It was very dry and not sticky or anything. It was just seemed like some kind of, I don't even know what material it was. I mean, I thought possibly like an ant or some other insect might have crawled inside the thing and got itself caught in the gears, but there was no, there are no like indications of legs or other insect kind of bits. It was just this brown stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it was like a bit of glue or dirt that just was in the mechanism from the factory, and by chance maybe it was stuck to the inside of the case, and eventually over time it maybe just fell off into the gears. I don't know. It's very strange, but that's what happened. I don't know if it's poor design, just contamination, or some kind of, if you want to be conspiracy here, some kind of self-obsoleting mechanism where the thing destroys itself. But no, it just seems strange to me. I don't understand it. But yeah, as you can see, the thing works perfectly fine now and doesn't catch at all and doesn't stop and twitch. It just works. So that was clearly seems to be the issue, or was the issue anyway. And I believe that I have fixed it now. So a good result all around. So if you do have a mechanism like that that's sort of hesitating, obviously the first thing to check is the battery, but I'd say second thing to check would be the actual gears. Make sure there's nothing jammed in them. I don't have any other experience working on clocks or anything, so I don't know if that's a common thing or not, but yeah, I don't know how common it is for the mechanisms themselves, or I mean the drive, the electronics part to fail. I suppose it could fail outright, but given the very low complexity, it's just literally a crystal, a chip, and a coil. I think it's pretty unlikely that there's a lot to fail there, and pretty unlikely it would fail. Although I do have another clock which runs fast. It gains about 15 minutes every year or so. So yeah, I don't know if I'll try investigating that. That could be a case of the crystal drifting. It is a very old clock, or something like that. I can't see how that would be a mechanical issue, but I could imagine if the crystal aged and drifted, it could cause that issue. So possibly that I could use this, as for a donor crystal, or possibly even swap the whole mechanism on that clock, because I think that one has a thicker face and this might actually fit. So who knows? I'll see how that goes. But yeah, maybe there'll be another clock video in the future. But this one seems to be fixed now, and it was all just that weird brown stuff caught up in the gears that I have no idea what it was. But it's gone, it's fixed. I suppose the only thing left to do might be to glue this piece of paper down a bit, the clock face. It's not perfectly flat. You can see on the edges it's kind of come away and sort of curled up over time. It's fairly old, and yeah, I think that would be worth fixing, because I can imagine if that did raise up far enough, the hands could jam against it, and obviously that's another possibility of why a clock could stop running, if the hands were jammed against something like that. I did investigate that as an issue when I first troubleshot this thing, but no, the thing hasn't done that. But I imagine it could in the future, so I might preemptively go back in and try to glue that down or something, just to give it a bit more of a chance to last longer. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Seems to work. So yeah, something to look out for. Hopefully someone can fix their clock. I do actually have, I think, another mechanism that I found somewhere that I had used to kind of make a custom clock a long time ago, and it maybe had a similar issue, so I might go and revisit that one and see if it has the same problem. Could be interesting. Anyway, that's that one. That's that for this video. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully that might be useful to someone, and I'll see you next time.